Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the conversation. This is Richard Mwenja, exclusive. Such a distinct privilege to have your company with us. I'm Richard Mwenja, and how about I bring forth the gentleman who's going to help me unpack the day's conversation. He's none other than Trans Nzoia's biggest export, certainly after the late Vice President Wamalwa Kijana and former Minister Ruto and Raila. How are you doing today, sir?
Very well, I thank God for it. Yeah.
You are well?
It's a good day. It's sunny and warm outside.
Do you applaud many people bring you close to the late Vice President Wamalwa Kijana, saying you are the only person who can come second to him in Trans Nzoia region?
Well, there are many other leaders. Masinde Muliro, who was my MP before me. There is an old man called Wafula Wabuge, who was your MP before you were born. Yeah.
You are just trying to play the humble pie.
Yes,
but you know people hold you in high regard.
Well, those who know me very well, some don't know me. They have another picture of me that I would wish to make it cleaner.
Your imaginary enemies, political enemies.
They are not my enemies. They don't know me enough. Yeah.
They are out here, those imaginary enemies, and those who don't know you well enough are asking, Richard, please tell Ruto and Raila to inform us. Is it that his asking price was too high? Perhaps why he's not been absorbed into government like former ministers?
Well, I didn't ask for any money, and because I don't have it. You see, at times, for you to have huge appetite for money, you must have some money. But if you're relying on pension and little farming, you don't understand the value of money. That could be my problem, but I don't think the current regime required my service. They have enough of the professionals. What they need to do is to put them together, allow them to serve. Yeah.
So you don't envy former ministers like you who've now been given new jobs in government, Moses Kuria, CS Owalo?
I don't envy them because even in the first place, they should not have been sacked. The lack of performance had nothing to do with those ministers. It had a lot to do with the president himself presiding over practically every other ministry or every ministry in government.
So the president was the architect of it all?
He is the architect of it all. Town hall meeting. I would have expected Minister for Education to lead the way. Although he's new, but the officers in the ministry are not new.
He wanted to have a father-son, father-daughter conversation, and he could only do that directly to them.
No. Because you see, if you don't allow people to multiply your effort with their own capacity, you will not make progress. It is the act of delegation that makes things move better. By delegating certain responsibilities and opportunities to people who can serve at that particular level. Every minister should know better is about his ministry than the president.
Well enough. And now to our main conversation of the day, we're talking about the political future of Azimio core principals, Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka, by extension, Eugene Wamalwa of DAP Kenya. And let's begin with Her Excellency, Martha Karua. Very recently, we saw Raila Odinga, His Excellency, actually pull out their picture, that there were two of them that used to dominate the background of his social media accounts. And many are questioning, is it this bad? Hii ndoa ya machozi imefikia hapa. Is the matrimony now under doom?
No, I think the issue may be slightly different. You remember Prime Minister Raila is running for a position in AU. And that picture, one was running mate to the other. And therefore, that arrangement has been superseded by new realities. That's why, I suspect that's why. Otherwise, because that particular arrangement is no more. So it has been superseded by time and other events. Yeah.
And now for this new pact between President William Ruto and Honorable Raila Odinga, do you think this new pact will stand the test of time?
Yes, my suspicion is as follows. This is the reincarnation of the Pentagon.
Really?
Yes, the 2007 ODM versus PNU arrangement.
Pentagon was lethal. Will this one be as lethal as
it depends. The players are getting older and heavier, but still the spirit is there. If President Ruto tomorrow said he's moving to ODM, Most of the UDA guys will say, oh, after all, that was our original party. You remember it was more of a Western alliance at that particular time, where the current Prime Minister, Musalia Mudavadi, was one of the Pentagon members. The current president was one of the Pentagon members. And many other people, including the Speaker of the Senate, was part of the ODM team. So the only person who is a Lone Ranger there may be the Speaker of the National Assembly, who was in PNU at that time. Otherwise, the rest of them, that was the team that visited mayhem on some parts of Rift Valley.
Pentagon is creeping back.
It's coming back, and Ruto may jump bail, dissolve UDA and move to ODM. For him, he just wants to have one last term. So what will stop him from getting to that? Sure. That's why I've always been telling Rigathi, beware. When you see a fattening of a cow, slaughterhouse is near.
So this could portend more doom and trouble for Rigathi Gachagua.
Yeah.
This new unholy matrimony between Raila Odinga and President William Ruto.
This is Pentagon. If Raila wins the AU position, he will donate somebody to run with the current president. And perhaps that could be one of the lady leaders from ODM.
You mean after Rigathi Gachagua, deputy president, literally helping President Ruto ascend to power, the president can be that ungrateful and offer him as a sacrificial lamb?
Which friends have remained with William Ruto, including President Moi? President Moi literally made Ruto what he is, including some of the cows that he put in a lorry and sent to Sugoi. Ask Ruto.
That is a statement of fact from you?
Just ask him that Kirwa said the following. Some of the cows from Kabarak were taken to Sugoi in a lorry.
What?
And possibly some of them are still there in another generation. Later on, he denied Moi. And Moi gave him a position of a minister. I was made minister by Kibaki, and I had served more than 15 years.
Gachagua is no exception.
Ask many of the friends of William Ruto who are with him in primary, in secondary, at the university. He still asks some, like some of the managing directors, but some, they are parted ways through bitter exchange.
So if he drops Rigathi Gachagua on the way, midway, so who will then bring the Mount Kenya votes to his basket? Because Gachagua, this far, you've said he remains shoulder above everyone else in Mount Kenya politics. Yeah. So who will be that person to deliver the vote to William Ruto?
Does he need votes from Mount Kenya?
He can do that without the bloc?
He can compensate elsewhere.
Nyanza, perhaps?
Nyanza,
because he's trying to court that region.
Nyanza and Raila supporters. Remember, in 2007, the country was divided into two. The PNU as one bloc, and the ODM as the other bloc. Then ODMK came in between. And the votes between Raila and President Kibaki at that time, the margin could have been about 100,000, despite all the doubts. And when they say Kibaki rigged, they should also tell us in Nyathike, the votes were more than 100%. Do you want to tell me that nobody was sick? Do you want to tell me nobody died from registration to voting? That's why Krigila said he doesn't know who won the election. There was rigging on both sides. But at times, you know, just like the MOU, you know, this MOU, nobody said Kibaki was going to run for one term. I signed that MOU myself. I was part of the summit. But there is a lot of propaganda that people believe some of these stories.
It was a blank check all along?
Which one?
The MOU?
The MOU was as follows. Kibaki was to be president, Raila prime minister, Wamalwa vice president. But when the constitution is amended, Kalonzo will be the other vice president. There will be 3 deputy prime ministers, starting with Saitoti as first deputy, Charity Ngilu second deputy, Kipruto Arap Kirwa third deputy prime minister. But the constitution matured 2010, towards the end of Kibaki's term. Wamalwa died the same year as we took over government. And Wamalwa was trusted by Kibaki more than any of the other fellows who could have aspired to the position of president after Kibaki. that issue of one term was never written anywhere. It was almost understood that the first bullet is for Kibaki to beat Kanu. After beating Kanu, we'll make arrangements. Wamalwa died. 2005, the team of ODM left us. Was Kibaki going to hand over to nobody in PNU or in ODM? Those are some of the facts that people refuse to live with. So Mount Kenya bloc, beware that you are dealing with a man who has shortchanged many of his friends. Many of his friends. So the 47% that was given by Mount Kenya can be compensated by Raila supporters. So that's why I've told you William Ruto may end up in ODM as a candidate.
So when you end, you find in the picture conversations like those from Member of Parliament Ruku, Honorable Ruku, saying there's need for us to divide Mount Kenya into two blocks, Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West, just so to address the issues of the mountain. Would you then say like Honorable Ruku and a few others could be working at the behest of President William Ruto, who might be keen to divide the nation so that Rigathi Gachagua does not have the entire block to himself?
You see, I think what he's thinking is to use the Mount Kenya block just to top up. But I have a feeling that he's not ready to embrace Mount Kenya the way it is, for fear of who comes after him as a president. And I want to remind Rigathi Gachagua again, our deputy president, that on the day he was announced as the running mate, I was there, I listened. And you can go back to that clip. He said they have agreed that in 2032 they will retire, the two of them. Just ask him. Just give him a telephone call. I can give you his number. That's the truth.
They would retire together?
They will retire together. You see, what Mount Kenya bloc should realize, they are the big brother. Just like Kenya in the region, Kikuyus in the region are taken to be the big brother. And many people are scared of you. Not you, Richard. The Mount Kenya bloc.
The region I come from.
The region, oh, no, you come from Trans Nzoia. You are part of the Western Alliance.
My umbilical cord is in Mount Kenya, was buried there.
No, your grandfathers.
Anyway, fair enough.
Yeah.
Moving on swiftly with this conversation, talking matters to do with 2027 politics. Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed barely a week ago insinuated that they are likely going to support President William Ruto in 2027.
Yeah.
The other day we saw Hassan Omar of the UDA party saying there is need for Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to understand that this was not about shared co-presidency. The president is only William Ruto. And if anyone has an interest, they can as well hug cactus or chew something else.
Yeah.
Would you say that all these conversations popping up right now are meant to tell Rigathi Gachagua that your goose is cooked, we are waiting for your political funeral?
Yeah, I think it is the curse of number two. The only number twos who sat pretty in the office is the late Wamalwa, Mudavadi, and Kalonzo Musyoka, because they were deputizing a man of repute who never feared anything. Even President Moi was harassed not by his boss, but by the team led by people like Kega and others. So all other deputy vice presidents in the past, they have suffered the same fate. Karanja was hustled out of the office. Saitoti was sacked and reappointed. Who else? The late Murumbi from Miss County, from Ryan's County. He served for only 6 months. Then he said he's resigning because of health grounds. But he lived for many years after that. He didn't die of the same disease that he was claiming to have lifted him out of office.
But now for Rigathi Gachagua to avoid this curse of the second in command,
yes,
would you say that there's need for him to probably leverage on the power of sympathy politics? Trying to cry victim when who's come knocking at your doorstep like President Ruto did during his tenure with President Uhuru, so that at least he can get those sympathy votes or endear himself to the masses through crying victim?
No, I think he can do better because this is part of building on democracy or democratic institutions. He should look for friends outside the arrangement that he has and make sure that he's in total control of Mount Kenya region and look for friends. And not even present himself as a presidential candidate. You can still retain the position he has. 2032, it will be his for the taking.
So there's need for him to up his firepower, not just have Mutahi Kahiga of Nyeri.
He should look for more friends. Of course, not me, because anything I say, they will say, after all, he has not liked William Ruto. They look for other friends. There are many Kenyans who would be willing to work with him for a cause that will give us better democracy in Kenya. Otherwise, today, there's no democracy. Democracy is for own sale. Democracy is just a convenient tool for those in power. Yeah, and those leading political parties. There's no democracy even in the parties. That's why Malala was hustled out of office the other day. Whoever will be holding the office or is holding the office may be hustled in the next general election. Not general election, in the next party elections.
So you are saying that chances are high Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's goose is already cooked. But even at that, you still maintain that is the towering figure when it comes to Mount Kenya politics as of now. So where does this leave Honorable Martha Karua, who I know might be harboring presidential ambitions? How can he ascend to the seat, even with Rigathi's presence in the picture?
Rigathi can support her. Why not? That's why I'm saying it doesn't have to be. You see, what Rigathi can do is to damage Ruto. But what he cannot do is to pretend to be presidential candidate in the next election.
And now to slay the giant that is President William Ruto, where should he start that journey from?
Oh, Martha Karua.
Rigathi Gachagua. We are talking of the need for him to damage President Ruto.
Yes.
Where does
He starts by just realizing that this goose is cooked. It leaves the place at the right time. He should not accept to be kicked out. Should Raila clinch the position in AU, Rigathi Gachagua next March, he will be impeached.
Really?
Yeah. There's been that talk about impeachment, and we get information that there is debate. Some want him impeached, others are saying, let's hold him, let's damage him pole.
Talking of damaging him pole,
Yeah.
Would you then say it's perhaps we are seeing the likes of Mwangi Kiunjuri going bare knuckles on Rigathi Gachagua?
That's how they do it. And you know, they are not learning an old script. That is how President Mo used to do. You remember Kibaki was demoted from position of Vice President, Minister of Finance and Planning, to a position of Minister for Health. It is not new. It is old politics. It is as old as Kenya's political landscape, which started the other day, 63, when we got our own internal self-government, and later on we got full government, and 1 year later we became a republic. And the prime minister then transformed to president. And the problems of Jaramogi started within 2 years. So problems of Rigathi started at the same time as that of Jaramogi.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
It is Uhuru was patient with William Ruto. He allowed him to serve full term without any trouble, with some kind of co-presidency. And when he was doing his second term, that is when trouble started.
But now,
Yeah.
we've discussed about Martha Karua, her future, and what she needs to recalibrate in her political style, and also Rigathi Gachagua.
Yeah.
But there's a man in the picture, the man from the Eastern Bloc, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yeah.
For a long time, he has been described as a political chameleon, someone who does not have a firm stand on some causes or some decisions, key decisions. Would you say that time is ripe for him to morph into a figure that people can believe in to the fullness of time?
You know, this propaganda belongs to two people. Raila Odinga, this watermelon thing. I know Kalonzo has a strong stand. That you can take it anywhere. Not to the bank, of course, because there's no money there. So, but you can take it anywhere. When we formed NASA, we used to spend a lot of meetings in my place in Karen. And those meetings were to do statistics, simulations, to see what is the probable winning combination. And it was very clear. If Raila had supported Kalonzo or Musalia without running for office himself in that particular election, the NASA elections, that team would have won. But the last minute, I don't know what happened. They say it was not we, the coordinating committee, who are going to decide who becomes presidential candidate. It was going to be the core principle, the principles. And because it was 2-2, Wetangula was already with Raila, and Musalia was with Kalonzo, I thought of the component of the fifth core principle. We went for Isaac Ruto. He accepted, and there were 5. The last minute we thought now we are going to vote who takes the position by the 3 of them being together. That is Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Isaac Ruto.
Of Chepalungu?
Of Chepalungu. He was, the former governor. So the last minute, we prepared meals, waited. Musalia never showed up. I'm telling you the truth. I called him about 8 o'clock. He was not picking my calls. Isaac Ruto arrived at 6. Kalonzo arrived at 6:30. I was seated there. Kivuta Kibwana, if you don't believe my word, ask him. So he said, eventually he talked to Agui, who was a member of parliament for Sabatia. And Agui said, he told us, he says, the driver has left, the security has left. We said, security from Isaac Ruto can go bring him. Or from, what do you call him? Kivuta Kibwana. Ask them. That this is a true story. In fact, I swallowed food without chewing. I was so annoyed. So when people say Kalonzo is watermelon, they are not telling you the truth.
It is not fair.
It is not fair. It's not fair. Now, the best way to do it, and this is my thinking, and you can send this clip to all of them, is for us to collapse all these parties.
DAP,
Wiper, na Kenya into one entity, and these become the leaders, and we form shadow cabinet. Shadow cabinet where there is almost a de facto leader of the team, deputies, about 2 of them, and we just hit the ground running.
With a charter in place, to be a binding covenant between...
Yeah, binding covenant, but also there must be trust, issue of trust. Each one of them believing they can run and win on their own. We are cheating ourselves. I'm telling you the truth. William Ruto would get 2nd term.
So there's wiggle room for you to adjust on your end.
We need to adjust. We should not even be addressing what William Ruto is doing. We should be addressing the issues of GNCs. How do we want this country to be better than what it is today? It's not about William Ruto. It's about a system that is corrupted, a system that is dead, a system that I don't want to associate with. So what I'm telling you is let us do it in a way that Kenyans will say these people are serious. But this issue of loan ranging, one meeting here, church service, we are wasting our time. Yeah. And now, send this clip to them.